Welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. Hi everybody, how are you all doing today? It's a great day to say that I haven't got one crystal on my table. Not one! That is the first time in probably 16 years I have a clear table. I've just managed to upload all those crystals. Of course I've got loads over there and over there, but none on there. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a break. And maybe today, just give myself a break from crystals, which I don't normally do, and maybe do a few videos and a coffee. Organic. How you all doing? How's everybody going? How are you all coping at the moment? Are you like, oh, do you feel a lot better today? How's it all going? It's interesting, eh? Interesting times. So a friend of mine, dear friend Zoe, sent a link, and it was a link to a video, and I didn't watch it, only the first few seconds because I was busy, but I just wondered what it was, and it was really interesting, the first few seconds. So I wrote it down quickly, the first few seconds, and I'm gonna go through this because I'll explain in a second. The video started by a woman saying, "What does it mean to be human? Why do we exist? What happens when we die? Are we alone? These questions can never be answered." And I'm going to say, yes they can. I can bloody answer them. Just because you can't doesn't mean I can't. I can answer them because that's been my work for 16 years. I'm not a narrator. I'm a worker, a doer. Problem is, the people who do the work never get a chance to speak. That's the truth. So I'm very lucky to have my own YouTube channel to be able to speak my truth through the work that I do. Ask me if I'd be invited onto mainstream media. No way, Jose. Not a chance. That should tell you everything. The truth is out there, but is never revealed by the ones who know it, because that would totally rip apart all of the system programming. So, I'm here, we've got a channel, I can answer these questions because I've done 16 years of work in this field of work. So I know my truth and I can answer these. So I would say to the lady, I can answer them. So I'm going to start today. I don't know how long this is going to take, but you know what? Grab yourself a coffee and let's begin. What does it mean to be human? Well, prior to being in this field of work for 16 years, I would have said to you, I have no idea. But since I decided to go on a path of enlightenment and to find out what was actually happening really beyond the programming, the illusion, the systematic daily brainwashing, I stepped away from all of that, ended up on a magical mountain, and I started to learn about energy. I started to learn about myself. I started to observe things that I've never seen in my life, never had time. We can all do it, but we just don't have time. We struggle enough to try and find money for our mortgage, let alone trying to understand life. I mean, what's that? Come on. There's better things to do, more important things to do. We need to make money. We need to do this. We need to do that. But life? What's that going to do? How's that going to help? There you go. That's how it stops us. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be you? What does it mean to be me? It's a beautiful question, and one that can be answered in 1,000 ways, 1,000,000 ways. Just the question alone is so interesting. By stating the obvious, human, it would seem as if that question limits us instantly, right? You're human. Okay, so that means I can only jump so high. It only means I can hold my breath for so long. It only means I've got 2 arms, 2 legs, so I can only do so much. How limiting is that question? What is it to be human? What is it to be human? Come on. What is it to be human? Do we really need to look for something to be human? What is it? What does it mean? How do we actually break that down? There are so many different aspects of what it means to be human. Your path, your journey, your breath, your feelings, your emotions, all of these things are part of the human experience. Does that make you human? Are you human? What is that experience? What does it mean to be human? Does that relate to the question that a human has to be anything? What makes me a human by my actions, my reactions? The question itself can be answered in a million ways. What does it mean to be human? Does it mean being human you have to be kind? Does it mean you have to be unkind? What does it mean to be human? What does it mean? Every time you keep asking yourself that question, in itself opens up such amazing energy if you allow yourself to be open to the fact that what does it mean being human? Limiting yourself by the idea that you wake up, you go and have a drink, have your breakfast, go to work, come home, go to sleep. In between there, eat a little bit more, drink a little bit more, talk a little bit with people, think things, judge a little bit, get angry, get sad, laugh. What does it mean to be human? Everything that you've been told leads you to never really truly understanding what that means. When you are systematically programmed daily, hourly, moment by moment, by what you should do, how you should behave as a human being, that in itself is not only limiting, but it's enslaving and imprisoning you from being the experience, living that human experience. What does it mean to be human? Think about that for a moment. What does it mean to be human? Think about it. What does it really mean, that question? How do you answer that? Is that question in itself wanting you to come up with the right answer or to say the right thing? Well, being in a human body means that I need to be this and I should be that. Okay, so that sounds limiting. I'll leave that one with you. Second question. Why do we exist? Well, within the years that I've worked with clients, I started to hear certain whispers that weren't whispers from my mind. I know the difference between my thoughts and a whisper that comes from somewhere else. Completely different. The mind creates. The heart is kind of like a doorway to listening. So it's like, oh, hang on a minute. Did somebody just say something? I just felt a conversation. Whereas when you're thinking of things and you're coming up with ideas in the mind, it's a different energy. Two different wavelengths, two different feelings, two different frequencies. Channeling is a beautiful energy. And channeling is a frequency that just is. You just know it. It's very connected to the intuition as well. Nothing to do with the mind. The mind is that what confuses all of us. We use the tool of the mind and we get confused very often. Why do we exist? If you believe that there is another world, if you believe that there is more to life than just this planet, if you believe that there is a possibility that there are many other worlds and worlds within worlds, whether you believe that or not, could there be a possibility that we are just a frequency and there's many other frequencies? And sometimes we see step in and out of those frequencies. Sometimes we see, did I just see somebody walk past then? Oh, different frequency maybe. Oh, it's a ghost, mate. Where does it, what do you mean a ghost? Oh yeah, it's a ghost, that's what that is. So where's a ghost? Where do they come from? Oh, they come from heaven. Interesting. Is this planet a planet that is purposely designed by nature? That the coexistence of the human body, when at a divine moment, at a spark, that the other world joins together and becomes one for a very short period of time. The moment of life. Some people believe it's the moment when you conceive. I beg to differ. I think there are many moments that a spirit can come into, that seed of life, that tadpole, that baby. Why? do we exist? Well, maybe we exist to prove to ourselves, to challenge ourselves, to see how we behave, our reactions, what we actually do when we're put in a situation so painful, challenging. We see how the spirit reacts. And the free will in between anything that we do. When we leave this world and we see all of those amazing moments that we created before we came here, because I believe there is in part a divine plan, a path. We don't always walk it, but we always step back onto that path at some point. So we might jump off the path at some point when we're a certain age, and then we jump back on it because we've got certain things we need to do. So within the spirit inside us, that's us, not the physical flesh. That's a suit. And we could be any suit. We could be a suit of an animal. We can be a suit of Chinese, Malaysian, Italian, Polish, Serbian, Greek. We can be born anywhere on this world with 2 legs, 2 arms, no legs, no arms. It's still a suit. It's not really who we are. We come to this world from our home, which we call the spirit world. It's a great word, but I don't think it's really the spirit world. It's far more than that. It's home. It's where we come from. And in that moment of agreement to come here and become one with a physical body, we exist to feel. Feelings that we would never be able to feel in our home world, because this existence is unique. Because when we are home, we don't have those same feelings, because the body is an amazing, amazing miracle. It feels, it senses. When you're home, you don't have those feelings and senses. They are different feelings and senses beyond our understanding. Far, far greater. This is more of a dense energy. And yes, we limit ourselves because of the body. But some people capture a glimpse of who we truly are. And then there's confusion because we realize we're far greater than this human body. So is the point of the existence to know who we are, where we came from, and that we are all seeing, all powerful, all amazing, and all everything? Or are we really meant to be here to coexist with this physical body, work with it, and feel, sense, react, and everything else, interact? And at the moment, like I said, when it's time that this physical body is done with, our true spirit, the real you, takes that moment of moving into the light and sees everything that we chose to go through. And then we ask ourselves, what did we feel? How did we feel it? Did I feel what I felt I needed to feel for the understanding of that feeling and experience? How did I cope with that? Could I have coped with it slightly different? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? if the answers to all of these questions in that moment, that beautiful divine moment of the passing, the crossing over, of going home, you ask yourself all of these questions and you judge. And not judge in the way that you did wrong, but judge in all of those feelings and what you learn and how you can take that with you as your spirit has just mastered certain things and felt things and understood things far more than they could ever do in the spirit world. And I believe at that point we go home and we then create a new journey. Maybe not in a week or a month, there's no such thing as time there, but maybe in 2 years, in our years, or 5 years and 10 years. And then we come back and say, I want to go into this body. I want to choose a mother and father like this because I need to feel this and experience that. And I haven't gone through that, and I'd like to go through that, and I'd like to feel that, and I'd like to understand how my spirit would react to this and how I would cope as a beautiful soul with that. That's why we exist. Ever growing, ever learning, ever experiencing our home world, and you will always continue as life does. It's one big experience. But this is a short, brief experience. Next question. What happens when we die? I've seen people moving into the spirit world. I've talked to people in the spirit world for 16 years, heard their whispers. It's taken a long time to really feel them and understand them. Everybody has a gift in seeing and feeling. Mine was a little bit more challenging because what I used to get was snippets of information, never the whole story, really frustrating. And I'd see glimpses of certain things that they showed me, and I'd have to put the pieces together. And most of the time, to be honest, and I'd rather be honest, I used to sit in front of my client reading for them, trying to attune to maybe a family member without them knowing, because I would never let them speak. And I'd be saying, now this is going to sound really strange, but does this make any sense? And they'd break down in tears and say, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I'd say, good. Well, I'm being shown this and I'm being shown that, and they're showing me this and I feel this. And at the end, they'd go, thank you. And they'd walk out of that door and tell 100 people. And people used to come up to me saying, oh, you're amazing. And I used to say, no, I'm not. I'm not amazing at all. In fact, half of the time, I don't know what the hell I'm saying and what I'm doing, but people seem to be understanding it, so I'm going to go with it. In those years, you become more confident and feel more and understand that there is another world. And when we leave this world, our other world, our home, is a home that cannot really be explained because we are so limited to what our brain and what we've been told. It's the word infinite, everlasting. There's no words. I can't find enough words to tell you what it feels like to be home. It is everything. The spirit world is one, and yet can easily be separated into your spirit. So the only way I could ever see it was, you see the ocean and you take one drop from that ocean, and that's you. Put yourself back into the ocean and you are one with the ocean. That's the only way I could ever describe it. but you are the ocean, but you can still come out as a singular from that one drop. Still the ocean, but now you're one drop from the ocean. And that's what the spirit world is. You are one drop from the spirit world. What happens when we die? We go home. Or we get trapped in between two worlds, depending whether we feel embarrassed, whether we're angry, whether we feel like we don't want to leave because of whatever reason. And then we can be trapped in between two worlds. What happens when we die? We heal. We have no pain. We have no suffering. It just is. And that feeling is so blissful that even if I gave you 200 healing sessions, you still couldn't even touch what I'm describing for that perfection of love, healing, peace. Imagine yourself not having any negative thought or feeling, but simply feeling rejuvenated. That most beautiful moment you've ever had in your life, that something happened, times that by 1,000. And that is the standard feeling when you move into the spirit world. When people come through and share a message with a client, more often than not, the client gets it wrong. Because when somebody in spirit is trying to explain who they are, they often explain who they once were in this world, so then it makes sense. But if I was to say to you, I've got somebody here and the most powerfulest energy, feeling amazing that I can't even explain, their energy is so unbelievable. Do you know who I'm talking about? You'd go, no. So when spirit comes through to share a message saying, oh, have you got a brother? And your brother had you've got a brother, and you have another brother, but he died, and he was really angry with John because John didn't do this for you. Oh my God, yes, that's him. Oh my God. And she walks out the door saying, oh, John's so angry at what you did. No, he's not angry at what you did. He's just trying to tell you who he is. Actually, he's at home now. He's at peace. There is no resentment, no remorse, no anger, because it was an experience. And they chose that experience to have a brother and sister and a mum and dad, and that person to hit me over the head, and that person to love me and break my heart, and all of these things. These were all exactly what I asked for. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. And you'll only know that when you move back home, because all of that will mean nothing. Because it was just simply an experience. Okay, are we alone? I wish I was sometimes. I bloody wish I was sometimes. Leave me alone. No, we're not alone. We've never been alone. There's many different forms of spirit around us all the time. Our home world, there's many different forms of extraterrestrials, what look like us, and many different forms of extraterrestrials, I don't like the word, but other beings from around the world that look different from us. People often say 100, but I would say thousands and thousands of different types. Have I met any? Yes, I have. I've just wrote in my book that I met one. But I think I've met a lot more. But one was so predominantly powerful, and that stuck in my mind, because when I was reading for this beautiful soul and healing this soul, well, after 16 years of reading for thousands of people, this one particular soul was so different when I was reading and attuning to this person that I realized that I'm not reading for a human being that has come forward in a spirit sense like you and I. So when I read for you, I can sense your pain, your suffering, your sadness, your heartbreak, your abuse, your physical illnesses. I feel your brothers and sisters. I feel your mum, your dad. I feel your children. I feel your animals. When I read for this one particular being, I didn't feel any of those things. And it was really interesting. Did he come to me to see his future? I don't think so. Did he come to me to find out, as a healer and a psychic, what I know and can I attune to things? Is it possible that human being can attune into their highest frequency and now have the ability to know the difference between human and non-human? I think he did. I think he came to see. I didn't do a good job. So I think he was probably happy with that, thinking we've still got a long way to go. But it was interesting for me. And what I learned in that hour and a half was phenomenal. Are we alone? We are not. Those would be my answers to those questions. And I stand by them over the 16 years I've worked, with my hand on my heart, and say, that is my truth. Stick what you want on me by a scientist and put a machine there to see if I'm lying. You'll see I'm not. That is my truth. Until the day I die, that's what I stand by. And I stand by it with the most love, excitement, happiness, joy, because I'm now broken free from the program. That program that most of you are breaking free from now because of 2020. The program of limiting you of your belief that you are simply a human and that this life is all you have. And when you're gone, you turn to dust. And while you're here, you need to work. And while you're here, you need to earn money and pay your bills and pay your taxes. And while you're here, you must learn everything that we teach you, and you must do everything that we say. Every day, there's another noose around your neck by the global world. Psychopaths, that's all they are. And we're here to break free from that illusion, that prison, that enslavement that's always been there through the centuries, through the millennia, ever since we came to exist. There's always going to be light and dark. There's always going to be bullies who want to take away your happiness, who want to take away your every move, who want to know exactly what you're doing, where you're going. Always. There's always going to be kings and queens and royalty and elite, and there's always going to be you and I, the common people. But I'm happy being who I am, and I'm happy knowing what I know. Because the one thing the darkness can never do is take away my truth and my understanding of what I've learned over these years. Without falter, without doubt, I know the answer to all of that. And I'm here to share with you with my hand on my heart. You don't die. You might feel illness and you might feel bad and but you don't die. On my next video, I'm going to talk about the spirit and the soul And I'm going to go into depth about what it does from day to day and from night, and how special we truly are, and how insignificant this body of ours is in comparison to the power of our soul and spirit. But also how important this body is for us to maintain and keep well, eat properly, fruit and vegetables organic, drink plenty of water without fluoride. Clear the fear from the programming. Clear the fear from the TV. There's only one way to do that. Throw it out of your window. Smash it up, like many people are doing now. Don't watch breaking news. Simply break the news and throw it out in the garbage. Don't listen to the actors on mainstream media, because all they're doing is acting. Don't believe politics, because everything they say is back to front. The wrong way around is a lie. Complete lie. And when you realize that, you can break free from that and begin your own understanding. Start to think for yourself. Believe in yourself. And that's why you're here. To break free from the program that will always be here. And that's what will make you powerful. Till tomorrow, have a beautiful day. Love you all. Take care.